Why does an entire generation dream of opting out of the workforce completely? Hey, it's Alex, and welcome back to This Is Fine, a Millennial Diary. We've talked about climbing while crying. We've torn apart the side hustle industrial complex, and we've looked at how unpaid internships stole years of our lives. But today, we're getting into something more raw, something a lot of us have whispered in private, tweeted in half jokes, or thought about while staring at the damn ceiling at 3 a.m., hours before our damn alarm even rings. I don't want to work ever. It sounds lazy. It sounds unrealistic, but it's also a truth for so many of us who feel like work has been less about living and more about survival. So today, we're asking, why do so many millennials want to get out of the grind entirely? You see, we are without question the Burnout Generation. We came of age in the shadow of 9/11, graduated into a recession, survived endless once-in-a-lifetime economic crises which we're still living through, watched wages stagnate while skyrocketing rent prices, and lived through a pandemic that redefined work entirely. So yeah, we are tired. Not just need a nap tired, we are existentially tired. We've been sold this idea that hard work equals reward, but the math never added up. And when the formula fails over and over and over again, you start asking, what if I just stopped? Here's where it gets interesting though. When millennials say, I don't want to work, it's not always about wanting to do absolutely nothing. It's about wanting freedom. Knock, knock, boomers, listen up. The freedom to create without monetizing it, by the way. The freedom to rest without guilt. The freedom to live without tying our value to a damn paycheck. It's the fantasy of winning the lottery, of FIRE. And I'll tell you what FIRE stands for. FIRE. Financial independence, retire early. Buying a cabin in the woods and disappearing. It's the dream of not waking up to goddamn alarms, not begging for PTO, not being defined by what's on our damn LinkedIn profile. You see, there's a certain group out there I'm going to talk directly to. This is not laziness. It's longing. You see, the generation before us millennials, they grew up on working hard, getting a job, doing the right thing, buying the house, buying the car, picket fence, et cetera, moving up. And, you know, some of these people that are still alive are still in the same place they bought 30, 40, 50 years ago for a fraction of a price, for a couple $100, for a couple pennies. Let's just face it. That's the way life was back then. But everything has changed. And unfortunately, the only thing that hasn't changed is the way that these individuals see life now, specifically for millennials and upwards. And let's be real. We've been primed for this dream since the 90s, since we were all kids. Think about Office Space. That entire movie was basically a millennial prophecy about not wanting to work. Think about the way shows like Friends glamorize joblessness in a New York apartment that, by the way, none of us could ever afford. Or even Reality Bites, which gave us that perfect mix of ambition and delusionment. Pop culture showed us both sides, the hustle and the urge to drop out of it entirely. And honestly, we related more to the dropout fantasy. Now, I would like to compare. Again, this is one of my favorite parts of the show. Millennials often whisper, I don't want to work, because we feel guilty even thinking about it. We've been so conditioned to prove our worth through labor that stepping away feels like rebellion. Now, Gen Z, they'll say it out loud. They'll post TikToks about quitting jobs. They'll push back on hustle culture. They'll admit openly that they want to work and want work to be optional. Where we hide the fantasy, well, they're normalizing it. And while some people call it entitlement, I'd argue it's just honesty. They're naming what we've always felt. When millennials say, I don't want to work, what we're really saying is, I don't want my entire life to be defined by labor. And that goes for anyone who owns their own business. That gets a little bit harder. It's like a double-edged sword, right? Because you have to work to make your income. You're not in a corporate, situation where you do the job, you get paid, right? But you're kind of stuck there as well. So it's a vicious circle. We want to love, to create, to rest, to travel, to be without constantly calculating how it fits into a career path. I think that career talk, that career path has to be somehow evolved. We want dignity outside of productivity, by the way. You see, and that's not lazy, that's human. So let's answer the central question I asked in the beginning of the show. Why do so many of us dream about never working? Because work has been more extraction than reward, more drain than dignity. And after decades of burnout, we're daring to imagine something different. Next up, productivity is not my personality. We're going to break down how we've been taught to wrap our identities around our output and how to finally separate who we are from what we do. So subscribe, share this episode with someone who's ever said, I just want to quit everything. And check out alexiscardoza.com for the YouTube channel, all of the socials, because not wanting to work isn't a failure. Honestly, it's a call for freedom. And this is fine.